Welcome to the closing of the thematic tracks and closing session ceremony for the Asia Pacific Climate Week in Johor Bahru 2023. With over 200 events happening here in Pesara Johor International Convention Center, and Johor Bahru this time has witnessed the presence of more than 3,000 participants from more than 100 countries all over the world for the past 4 days. And without further ado, to commence this Asia Pacific Climate Week closing of the thematic tracks, I would like to invite our moderator for today, Mr. Alejandro Kilpatrick of United Nations Climate Change, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alejandro Kilpatrick. I'm with the UN Climate Change Secretariat. Once again, welcome to the closing of the thematic tracks and the closing ceremony of Asia Pacific Climate Week here in Johor Bahru. At the outset, let me thank the government of Malaysia and the government of Johor for hosting this year's Asia Pacific Climate Week and providing a platform for the thematic track discussions. I would also like to thank our global partners, the World Bank, the United Nations Environment Programme, and the United Nations Development Programme for the ongoing collaboration on these thematic tracks. And I also must thank, of course, our partners in the region for your invaluable support. This session will feature the closing of the thematic tracks and the closing ceremony for Asian Pacific Climate Week. Our regional partners will share an overview of the discussions that took place under each of the 4 thematic tracks, with a special focus on what were the key takeaways for the region, priority actions and solutions that contribute to strong outcomes for the global stocktake to be concluded at COP28. These track summaries that will be presented were developed by our UNFCCC track teams and will be used in the final reporting of the regional climate weeks for Asia and for the overall report that will go to COP28. Following the sharing of the track summaries, we will have the official closing ceremony with perspectives from our global partners and closing remarks by UN Climate Change and the government of Johor Bahru, followed by a short cultural event. At this time, I would like to invite our regional partners from the Asian Development Bank, the Institute for Global Environment Strategies, United Nations Global Compact, Malaysia and Brunei, and the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific to join me on stage. While they make their way up, we have a short video with some images of what happened throughout this week. We can please play the video.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Well, this short video is just a glimpse of the wonderful exchanges we had during this climate week, the connections made, and the fabulous facilities and support provided by our host. So at this time, I would like to dive into the thematic track takeaways. And for track 1, I would like to kindly ask Mr. Virender Kumar Dugal, Principal Climate Change Specialist in the Climate Change and Sustainable Development Department with the Asian Development Bank, to provide us an overview of what were the key takeaways for track 1.
Development partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and very dear friends. On behalf of the Asian Development Bank, a regional partner for the Asia Pacific Climate Week, I'm truly grateful to be here today, and it is my honor and privilege to summarize the key takeaways from track 1, which was on energy systems and industry, as you have been participating. But before that, I would like to thank all the participants and speakers who have really made this Asia Pacific Climate Week a big success, which is a true reflection of the growing interest in this topic of climate action. This is a very important time, a very important agenda, but I also realize that the COP being just a couple of weeks away, kind of adjustment that you would have to make to be part of this very important discussion here, which I truly appreciate and thank you for. So from reporting perspective, track 1, sessions were very well attended and showcase a very diverse themes that we were able to discuss. All the speakers and audience who made the discussions very, very interactive. Three key takeaways that we have been able to take from here is: number 1, enhancing ambition and accelerating action; number 2, just energy transition; number 3, closing the climate finance and technology gap in Asia and the Pacific. Let me further elaborate on these 3 themes. Number 1, on the enhancing ambition. Achieving net zero pathways involves prioritizing key sectors, especially energy supply, as it directly affects other sectors. Significant untapped renewable energy potential exists in the region that opens opportunities to scale up energy transition and climate action. That would be in alignment with the goals of the Paris Agreement towards net zero future. Access to finance and enabling policies by the government, such as feed-in tariffs, provide an opportunity to accelerate an energy transition that further opens further opportunities for countries to work on. And from the governance side, institutional coordination and collaboration with the private sector and inclusion of youth, indigenous people, and local communities in the decision-making process is going to be very important, and that will be key to adopt and promote low-emission technologies. This was clearly articulated by various speakers and came through during the interactions with various participants in different sessions. Theme 2, on just energy transition. We heard key elements for just energy transition in the region, prioritizing all stakeholders and communities in transition planning, promoting skills development, local-led initiatives, empowering sustainable living, as well as technical and vocational training. Stronger subnational policy frameworks are crucial for private sector engagement and renewable energy development, especially in islands and other challenging geographies. The third point, the region possesses abundant critical minerals for technology and innovation. This point came up a number of times. However, strong legal and policy frameworks for critical minerals can minimize negative impacts of extraction on the environment and local communities to ensure efficient use of minerals and encourage circularity from e-waste in supply chains. This is a very important point. I think a number of policymakers took note of it and repeated this point in various sessions that we had. And finally, the theme 3, closing the climate finance and technology gap in Asia and the Pacific. This was a topic which was discussed a number of times, including on sessions on carbon finance, which are very well attended. Key takeaways include engaging civil society and NGOs in development finance, particularly with international finance organizations such as GCF and GEF is very essential. Grants to support local grassroots initiatives with focus on empowering women entrepreneurs will be key for equitable development. And then finally, a topic that is very close to my day-to-day work and very close to my heart, and this is regarding carbon markets. There is a growing momentum and recognition for the need of high-integrity carbon markets to reduce GHG emissions cost effectively. A strong governance system as well as robust and transparent national frameworks and strategies that encompass environmental, social, and financial accountability will be very, very important and key for the success of international carbon markets. So it will be critical to maximize engagement with local communities, civil society, indigenous people, as well as youth and partners so that the benefits of international carbon markets can be shared with all partners and the rightful beneficiaries. That will contribute to the success of all climate action and sustainable development in the region. With this, I would like to thank you once again and pass on to the moderator once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Virender, and many thanks to ADB for their invaluable contributions and support to this track and other tracks. Next, for track 2, which focused on cities, urban and rural settlements, infrastructure and transport, I would like to invite Mr. Eddie Suresh, Director of the UN Global Compact Network for Malaysia and Brunei, to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, YB Lee. Thank you everyone for joining us today. So it has been an exhilarating week with parallel discussions among the 3,800 registered hybrid participants. Thank you, welcome, and welcome to Johor. And I hope everyone enjoyed yourselves, enjoyed your stay, enjoyed the good food and hospitality in Johor as well. The APCW has put Johor on a global climate action map, and the UN Global Compact Network Malaysia and Brunei is happy to be the focal point and regional partner for the Climate Weeks. Track 2 discussions highlighted the pivotal role of local and subnational engagement in achieving national and global climate targets. Discussion focused on the potential of subnational leadership and multinational and multi-level governance in climate action and finance. Participants underscored the significance of development and climate nexus, advocating for collaboration between private and government sectors to implement ambitious climate action plans. Key points included the importance of availability of green funding from multilateral development banks, local banks, and private sector for large-scale implementation of climate-resilient projects in the region. Stakeholders identified challenges related to the accessibility and affordability of climate-friendly technologies which require extensive changes to infrastructure. We heard that cities have opportunities to boost revenues and attract investors through effective financing management and reporting aligned with international standards. The discussions further delved into the sustainable urban transport across Asia and the Pacific, acknowledging the need for infrastructure development through improved planning and design. Emphasis was placed on the core role of public transport, with a call for policies that influence travel behavior and also increase public transport mode share. Electric mobility was seen as an integral part of achieving net zero carbon emissions, dependent on transformation of the power sector. Strong collaboration between public and private sector is required to enhance sustainable urban transport in the region. While acknowledging increasing trends in cross-sectoral and cross-regional collaboration on infrastructure, participants identified untapped opportunities in areas like built environment and road transport. Both are crucial for mitigation and resilient development, and scaling proven programs and engagement of countries with well-established financial structures for technology investment was emphasized. Cooperation on technology innovation emerged as a collaborative and interactive process with regulatory frameworks tailored to cover specific regions. The breakthrough agenda was highlighted as an important tool to support an ecosystem and facilities technology transfer, as well as collaboration in education, harmonization of standards, and finance for green projects. The UN Global Compact Network Malaysia and Brunei will continue our mandate to engage the private sector actors from all industries, regulators, and financial institutions to push the decarbonization conversation to be science and evidence-based while making business sense. Businesses must do well while doing good to ensure a sustainable future for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eddie. And please allow me to say that your collaboration in the run-up to this event and throughout the week has made this Climate Week a great success. Thank you very much. Well-deserved applause. Let's move now to track 3, which focuses on land, ocean, food, and water. And I would like to invite Mr. Sangnim Nam, Director of the Environment and Development Division at the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, to the podium.
UNESCOM, I would like to express our gratitude to host government for excellent arrangement and hospitality, and all the partners for their great collaboration, and also all the participants for their great enthusiasm, which really reaffirmed the value of this regional process. Track 3 kick off with a discussion on nature-based solutions for system transitions from the perspective of leaving no one behind. Experiences and recommendations emphasize the fair engagement of all actors, especially the most vulnerable. In this context, the need to place local community and vulnerable groups, such as indigenous people, resource-poor smallholder farmers, and rural women, are at the front and center in initiative for nature-based solutions was noted. Local initiatives were also showcased, including water management solutions in Nepal, sustainable land management practices in Laos, PDR, and Cambodia, restoration efforts in Yellow and Mekong River Basin, as well as Ganges River in India, and on enabling regulatory framework for the private sector in Indonesia and sustainable livelihood management practices in Mongolia. Also successful experience in Thailand for nature-based solution and ecosystem-based adaptation in Laos PDL were showcased. The track 3 also discussed the nexus approach to climate, water, and land food, highlighting adaptation and mitigation benefit, including addressing the looming polycrisis of livelihoods, climate, and biodiversity. Stakeholders noted the spatial prioritization and stewardship of critical resources in the nexus that should be factored into intended outcome. The last part was potential of ocean-based action to close the emission gaps and opportunities for regional cooperation, including a pioneering initiative for regional ocean-based climate action towards the 2024 Ocean Dialogue. Insights from Cambodia, Bangladesh, and Indonesia spotlighted specific challenges in the tourism sector and highlighted that most successful stories that involved local communities from the beginning. Emissions from shipping sector, ocean acidification, and plastic pollution were also highlighted in this discussion. Marine spatial planning and the need to promote suitable approaches for blue carbon economy were also discussed with a recommendation to integrate into NDCs and scale up through Article 6 mechanisms. Discussions highlighted a successful partnership at all levels, including Lima Adaptation Knowledge Initiative, aimed at addressing sub-regional knowledge gaps, including in Hindu Kush Himalaya and the Pacific Islands. The track featured youth representatives who highlighted their role and shared inspiring contributions. For instance, from World Food Forum in Indonesia. Thank you for youth and all the participants in this track discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sang-min, and we really appreciate the long-standing cooperation with UNESCAP. Now let me turn to our final track, track 4, which dealt with societies, health, livelihoods, and economies. I would like to welcome Ms. Ariel Yuking Yu, Deputy Director, Regional Center in Bangkok for the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, to share the track summary.
A representative from various governments, development partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, I'm very honored and delighted to summarize key takeaways from track 4. Before that, I would just want to echo my partner fellows to express IG's appreciation for all the participants and organizers to make this year's APCW a success. Track 4 discussions covered crucial themes including health, community-based climate actions, climate-related displacement in the Asian-Pacific region. In health, the focus was on a practical, systems-oriented approach that recognized the central role of health in effective climate interventions. We heard a call for locally relevant frameworks and tools with an emphasis on building climate-resilient healthcare facilities while balancing adaptation, mitigation, and social justice. Concerns over health are something that unites people. Therefore, this lens can be used to move climate action forward while ensuring just, healthy, and equitable long-term transformation. To achieve this, there is a need to build capacity of health professionals as well as use a health in all climate policy approach. We heard that community-based climate actions emphasize collaborative efforts involving governments, civil societies, local actors, and international partners. Multi-stakeholder platforms must prioritize the inclusion of grassroots communities, indigenous groups, slum dwellers, and other marginalized groups. It is essential to facilitate their participation in sharing concerns and crafting climate solutions tailored to local needs. The implementation of community-based climate action should ensure active engagement by these communities. Easy access to climate funds for affected communities is vital, ensuring no marginalized group is left behind in a just climate transition. NDCs must serve as roadmaps, guiding adaptation and mitigation processes. Implementing NDCs can reduce risk and vulnerability, enhance adaptive capacity, build resilience to climate change at the regional and local levels, and benefit communities. Track 4 also explored the nexus between human rights, climate change, and human mobility. Participants identify a need to shift the focus from risk-centered to people-centered approach. Discussions on climate-related displacement considered various mobility experiences, including challenges for labor migrants. The emphasis is on community-based frameworks and closing research gaps, particularly for health issues of returning female migrant workers. Recognizing climate-related mobility's global nature, we heard a call for integration into national policies and COP processes. Real-world challenges like planned relocations and limited state support in the Pacific were explored. Throughout, there was a consistent call for practical, context-specific strategies, resource allocation, and comprehensive measures to holistically address the interconnected challenges of health, community-based climate actions, and climate-related displacements across the diverse Asia-Pacific region. With that, I would like to thank all the participants and organizers again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ariel, and I must thank IGES for working with us on this Climate Week, but also for your ongoing partnership, particularly with our Regional Collaboration Center for Asian Pacific based in Bangkok. Ladies and gentlemen, this closes our thematic track discussions here at Asia Pacific Climate Week 2023, the last Regional Climate Week of this year. And in the weeks to come, we will compile more detailed outputs from this Climate Week and other Climate Weeks in a report that will be available online. This report will also be presented to the COP28 presidency as part of the global stocktake process. This can and should guide climate action following the COP28 Climate Change Conference, as we know, opens in just a couple of weeks in the United Arab Emirates. This is our opportunity to turn commitment into action. And I strongly believe we have seen the will to do that exactly here in the Asia-Pacific Climate Week, with so many stakeholders and governments committed to climate action. Thank you again to all our regional partners and everyone who participated in the thematic track discussions and their design. And at this time, I would like to invite our global partners, Mr. Don Cooper, and our host government representative to the stage for the closing ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, welcome to the closing ceremony for Asia Pacific Climate Week 2023. In this ceremony, we will hear from our regional Climate Week's global partners, their perspectives and insights on what transpired here in Johor. Then we will hear from the UNFC Secretariat through, I'm certain, inspiring words from Don Cooper. And finally, we will hand over to our host government of Johor to officially close APCW 2023. To get started, let me first invite Ms. Miriam Inostroza, head of the Global Climate Action Unit at the United Nations Environment Programme, to speak. Miriam, please.
Good morning. I'm privileged to be the first speaker, but I was scared to speak after Donald because he sets standards for speeches, so let me see if he challenged me. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains on this transformative Asia-Pacific Climate Week, in the middle of a chaotic time, where humanity is dealing with violent conflicts, extreme climate disasters, and economic uncertainties, I am filled with gratitude and renewed hope. Creativity, innovation, inspiration, inclusivity, cooperation, and action have been our guiding lights throughout these days, shaping a narrative, shared responsibility, and commitment to action. First and foremost, our deepest and heartfelt gratitude to the government of Malaysia and the city of Johor Bahru for the warm hospitality and for orchestrating a flawless organized Asia Pacific Climate Week. You amazed us, starting with a welcome dinner on Sunday and the opening ceremony, where culture, creativity, and multisensory elements were put together to inspire us, but more importantly, to remind us of the magnitude of the challenge we are all gathering here to address. Your meticulous planning and commitment have set the stage for meaningful events, fostering an environment where ideas flourished and actions were catalyzed. An example of this is the launch of the Johor Sustainability Center, which not only reflects the highest standards of the country's ambition, but also signifies what this week is all about, a commitment to continuing the momentum we built, pooling solutions and best practices from the region. We want to extend our appreciation to the UNFCCC Secretariat for its leadership in orchestrating the regional climate weeks. You have been a beacon of guidance, fostering collaboration and uniting partners in the common cause of addressing climate change. Gratitude also due to our invaluable partners, UNDP and the World Bank, and regional partners, ESCAP, the Asia Development Bank, IGS, UN Global Compact of Malaysia and Brunei, as well as UN Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei Darussalam. Your collaboration and commitment to creating platforms have been instrumental in shaping the success of this week, and is a testament to what we can achieve when we work hand in hand, pooling our resources and expertise together for a common goal. We look forward to continued collaboration as we navigate the challenges and opportunities on our collective journey toward a net zero future. The reality in the daunting climate change crisis, with its visible impacts across the region, cannot be understated. Yet, the events of the week have reignited hope in humanity's ability to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal. UNEP throughout this week has supported various facets. As already was mentioned, we supported sessions in the thematic tracks, the action track events, affiliated events, and side events that shared our support and knowledge, but also enriched our perspectives. The sessions outlined the systematic shifts required to meet climate commitments, emphasizing key sectors with high mitigation potential, including the traditional energy and transport sectors. Through these events, we learned about the breadth of localized solutions and forward thinking within the region, highlighting the strides already taken. We delved into crucial areas, including increasing demand for critical minerals and the need to minimize impacts through mining, increase efficiency to reduce the demand for minerals while safeguarding communities. Capacity building sessions on implementing NDCs, in advancing transparency, integrating circularity concepts on NDCs, energy efficiency, and cooling were conducted. The region's vulnerability to climate impacts demanded focused efforts on adaptation and resilience. Inclusivity has been at the heart of this gathering, with the active participation of the youth and the indigenous communities. Their voices, often unheard, resonated strongly here, amplifying the call for impactful action. Their involvement reminds us that a just transition is only possible if all perspectives are included. Yesterday, we were lucky enough to witness the enthusiasm and big ideas by the young next generation innovators, consisting of primary and secondary school students pitching sustainable solutions for a great future. This left an indelible mark on our hearts. The active participation of youth reminds us that we must continue to invest in our youth and set them for success by providing opportunities for training, making the necessary systemic shifts, and also involving them in discussions to ensure a just and fair transition. As we close this week, it is crucial to recognize that our journey is far from over. The momentum we've generated must not decrease. Instead, it should push us forward with even greater determination and purpose. In closing, Johor Baru, your hospitality has been outstanding. Each moment and each person supporting us throughout these days have contributed to the success of this week. As we look ahead, let the lessons learned and connections built during this week be the driving force behind meaningful change on our journey to a sustainable and resilient future for our planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for highlighting particularly two major threats during this Regional Climate Week, transformational shifts and the involvement of the new generations. Thank you so much for your perspectives. Next, we would like to hear from Ms. Akiko Yamamoto, Regional Lead for Asia and the Pacific with Energy and Environment at the United Nations Development Program. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity to thank you all esteemed speakers, participants, colleagues who manned their booth at the Action Hub. All of you, 3,800 registered participants who spent time here with us this week, either in person or virtually, away from your ordinary busy schedule in this very busy time of the year, taking time to share your knowledge, contribute your perspectives, learn from others, and expand your network. The highlights from each track presented by our regional partners show that the Asia-Pacific Climate Week has provided valuable opportunities for us to discuss various important issues with strong emphasis on their implication to the countries and people in this region. We heard that just transition is the key to ensure long-term sustainability in systemic and transformative changes that we must go through to address immense challenges of climate emergency. The importance of locally led actions, especially contributions to be made by indigenous peoples, local communities, youth, and women cannot be overemphasized to leave no one behind. In discussions for just energy transition, the needs of governments, the private sector, vulnerable communities, indigenous people, and youth, women's group were articulated in more concrete terms. They are seeking clarity, frameworks, and financing in transitioning to the new sustainable paradigm, moving beyond the status quo of siloed approaches to policy making. Discussions that centered around carbon markets reminded us that they are a means to an end, not an end in itself, for countries to achieve their NDCs and net zero transition. The high integrity of carbon markets should go beyond carbon accounting and financial integrity. It should include social and environmental safeguards to ensure that carbon market initiatives do no harm and promote overall positive, sustainable development impacts. In this area, once again, indigenous peoples and local communities have a critical and active role to play as key partners in providing tested and proven solutions in supporting the development of high-integrity carbon market mechanisms. We note that they called for a moratorium on all carbon trading activities in the region until indigenous peoples' rights to their lands and resources are fully recognized and respected, including the rights to free, prior, and informed consent. As with other regions, discussions highlighted that increasing demand for critical minerals, especially to realize energy transition. This issue is calling for an urgent attention. We need to ensure that countries and local communities that possess vital minerals for the energy transition will not only benefit fairly from their resources, but also be protected from adverse environmental, health, and labor impacts. Circular economy has an important role to play here to help minimize the pollution and extraction of raw minerals. Circularity also has huge potential in supporting countries to raise the ambition of the next generation NDCs due in 2025. Investments to realize NDC targets should assist us to accelerate our shift towards more circular economy. We hope that the toolbox on building circularity into NDCs, recently launched by UNDP, UNEP, and UNFCCC, will contribute to that effect. We also heard the importance of strengthening robust data and information systems for the formulation of evidence-based policies and plans, attracting climate adaptation investments, and tracking and reporting of progress of climate action. Science, soft and hard data, and research should be used to guide policy choices, as the choices we have now will impact generations to come. Adequate and flexible climate financing, particularly for adaptation action, is also critical and should be better contextualized to each country's priorities. It is crucial to ensure that funds make it all the way down to the local level, benefiting those who are implementing action on the ground, and we must ensure that distributive injustice are avoided. Our youth has spoken very eloquently about the importance of intergenerational equity during this week in various sessions. Meaningful youth engagement from subnational to international levels is becoming more mainstream. However, there is still much work to do, and comprehensive support such as capacity building, intergenerational dialogue, creation of official mechanisms, and resources is still needed to include and empower them in climate governance processes and ensure genuine government-youth partnerships and power distribution. This is particularly true for even more underrepresented groups. Today marks not only the final day of the Asia-Pacific Climate Week, but also the final day of the series of regional climate weeks in 2023. We hope that this regional platform has provided an opportunity for countries and non-state actors to amplify their voice, priorities, solutions with strong regional focus. Their critical insights must be included in the global stocktake process. To close, UNDP would like to extend its thanks to our gracious host, the state of Johor, and the government of Malaysia for their hospitality. I would also like to thank UNFCCC and other global and regional partners for their efforts to bring these regional weeks to the successful close. The event will be closed, but this week is another beginning. A few key initiatives have been launched this week. Many new discussions have started. We look forward to keeping up with the momentum in the run-up to and beyond Dubai. UNDP stands ready to continue supporting countries in their efforts to transition to a just and climate-resilient world. We have no time. All discussions must lead to actions. And we should remind ourselves that without Asia taking bold actions, the world would not achieve the Paris Agreement targets. Let us all come together and accelerate our actions so that we can leave a better future for our children and grandchildren. Thank you.
Very much, Akiko, for that last call to action, something we saw very evidently here in the region in terms of the rich array of solutions that are available for advancing climate action. Thank you very much also for reminding us of the registration to this Climate Week, which is the largest attendance for a Climate Week in Asian Pacific region. So we're very happy for that. Finally, as regards the insights from our core partners, we would like to hear from Mr. Marcos Castro, who's the Regional Climate Liaison for South Asia in the Climate Change Group at the World Bank. Marcos.
Thank you, Alejandro. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege, my honor to speak to you all on behalf of the World Bank to contribute to help close the Asia Pacific Climate Week. And I would like to start with expressing our thanks to the Johor state government and the government of Malaysia for hosting this magnificent week, and of course to our partners, UN Climate, UN Development, UN Environment, and all our regional partners for the very productive and smooth collaboration and cooperation in preparing and delivering this wonderful week. Allow me to be brief. We have already listened and heard all the insightful reflections from our regional partners and our global partners on what was delivered during this week. And let me jump into some, just to express our gratitude and our commitment to, with the region. This week, the fourth and final Regional Climate Week ahead of COP28 has been an important opportunity for us to interact with governments and other global and regional partners for strengthened collaboration on the climate and development agenda. Together, we have devised approaches for collaboration on how to increase resilience against climate risks, shared experience on the transition to a low emissions economy, and have explored innovative climate solutions. The World Bank and the International Finance Corporation have had the honor to contribute to the program through a series of side events and track events. Our contributions have ranged across critically important topics from climate finance and carbon markets to just transition and air pollution. This year's Asia Pacific Climate Week was of course very important as its results have contributed or will contribute to the global stocktake process. The global stocktake is key to raise awareness that the world is, of course, it's not on track to reach the 1.5-degree goal, emphasizing the urgent need for collective climate action. In addition to highlighting the regional challenges, this week was an opportunity to identify priorities for the region to get back on track and achieve the objectives of the Paris Agreement and to share inspiring climate solutions from the region. Just to name a few, as one of the fastest growing economies globally, with the largest population and host to the most low-lying countries, the Asia-Pacific region is particularly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Accelerating a just transition to a decarbonized future is vital for the region. In this context, the role of high-integrity carbon markets in international public climate finance is key to financing the energy transition. Moreover, We heard, for instance, in the World Bank affiliated event that addressing air pollution has the potential to reduce CO2 emissions also as a co-benefit, a mitigation co-benefit by 25%. Improving air quality is a priority for the region, must be a priority for the region, as it brings important co-benefits in health and economic productivity. At the World Bank, we're ready to continue working together with countries and partners in the Asia Pacific going forward on this agenda to COP28 and beyond. Many thanks to the Johor State Government and the Government of Malaysia for hosting this very special Asia Pacific Climate Week. And thank you to the UNFCCC and our Climate Week's global partners and our regional partners for the prolific and rewarding collaboration and cooperation throughout the preparation and delivery of this regional milestone event. I will end now by thanking you, all of you, for the many interactions that the World Bank team has had with you over the course of the week, and by asking you to continue to take every opportunity to play your part to protect the only livable planet we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcos, for your kind words and inspiring words. And that concludes now this session on hearing the perspective from our partners. And we would like to express our sincere appreciation for their collaboration that has made not only this Climate Week possible, but all the regional Climate Weeks in 2023. Without the support from our partners, this would have not been possible, of course, including our gracious and generous host, in this case, the government of Malaysia and Johor Bahru. At this time, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Donald Cooper, Director of Transparency at the UNFCCC, to share the Secretariat perspective. Don.
Good midday, I think we're about. I was told that my principal task was to thank everybody. But everybody has spent the whole morning thanking everybody. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? I thought I would open with a driving factor which we try to instill in the transparency team at the UNFCCC. And my job, my number one job in the entire Secretariat is to achieve these two things. One, make people smile. And secondly, teamwork. I don't have to do anything else except those two. Smile. If the people around you, no matter what you are doing, are smiling, your productivity goes through the roof without ever doing anything else. Teamwork. You get credit for everything every one of your colleagues do. It's great for the employee, but for the organization, 1 + 1 never equals 2. It doesn't even equal 3. We tend to look at it as 1 + 20 = 100. We are called on to do what reasonably must be impossible tasks. And the way you get them done is with a happy team, a collaborative team. And what you have been establishing here is a collaborative team. Remember, we started off by reconfirming that we are all on the same side of the table. When your group and your representatives go to Dubai, yes, there'll be lots of other people on the other side of the table. But for this week, you're all on the same side. You represent the largest bloc in the entire world. Each one of you is at the pinnacle of that pyramid. You are not you. You are all those people that you are representing. And they are expecting you to do that 1 plus 20 equals 100 multiplication. And that level of a voice is powerful. This brings me to some of the characteristics of people that I have met during the course of this week that I want to just highlight. I was awed by the opportunity to meet Her Majesty, the Queen of Johor, impressed with that strong commitment to climate change and the impacts it has on people. Very impressive, and it shows leadership which will filter throughout the country of Malaysia, let alone the state of Johor. The Minister for Natural Resources, when I first met him, he was very quiet and presented a figure of confidence. But once he started engaging, his knowledge level is impressive. And the way that has been translated into opportunities for Malaysia are something that provides a beacon that other countries can also look at. And I hope that Malaysia utilizes its new leadership role formulated through the Asia-Pacific Climate Week to pass a lot of that experience, knowledge, and skill on to others. Chief Minister, I come from a country, the Bahamas, where tourism is the driving factor. And being able to make people comfortable in your country is one of those things that are essential for tourism. And I will have long memories about how the vision we are living today was conjured up by the Chief Minister, brought to his state. First time they've ever convened such a meeting. And he was able to convey that confidence and able to persuade me to do things that I would have never thought I would try. So I have been greatly impressed. And lastly, every time I turned around to look and see if something was being done, I would run into the mayor of Johor Bahru. He was everywhere, and he was hands-on, leading by example. That is the kind of leadership you can follow. So I just wanted to mention those individuals as being the kind of personalities that make the success that we have here. And you may measure the success as today's success. But today's success is what you're going to build tomorrow on. So if you are starting here, it means there's quite a huge potential for where it will go tomorrow. So whoever takes the reins on from Malaysia has the opportunity to really hit the stratosphere. It's vision and then the ability to sell your vision. And from what we have seen in the discussions and the engagement, that is here in abundance within the region. The hospitality that you almost take for granted when you are moving around the venue, around the city, how comfortable you feel. I have never seen our team so happy. I keep checking to see that they're doing their jobs as well, but they seem to be enjoying themselves. And remember what I opened with, if they're having fun, they are working extremely profitably for you. And that is due to the level of support we have received. every time I even think I need assistance, someone is already there giving it to me. Whenever I'm trying to figure out how to do something, someone is already there to do it for me. The organization has been phenomenal. I think that this city has the prospects of hosting more and more and more of these types of events and continuing that global leadership. The World Bank, UNEP, and UNDP, it's almost like all four of us together are one, all over the place. The level of cooperation goes so high up and so far down that it's difficult for you to be able to recognize who is with which bit. Right? And it means that personalities and egos and whose mandate and whose responsibility, we've thrown those out the window so long ago that it becomes good. And I think we had the benefit here. So thank you all very much. Now, I was not really supposed to say much, and I turned the first page, and you can't really believe that much was written on the first page, so I have to at least pretend like I'm reading the script. And I was cornered when I came into the building, and they were trying to impress upon me that I need to read the words and then get off the stage. This is the last day. I mean, honestly, when am I going to get another opportunity like this? So you have to enjoy it. I don't know how we managed to talk so many regional organizations into joining with us. Now, the next stage is not just joining with us, but then turning that joining with us into tangible contributions to the countries in the region. So I'm hoping that each one of you has been lobbying them hard so that we can then hold them responsible for the commitments they give you. And to be sure, they are the UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, you can't hide. The Asian Development Bank, who have loads and loads of money. The UN Global Compact Network, Malaysia and Brunei. I mean, you got a chance to stand on the stage, it's time to pay for it. The Institute for Global Environmental Strategies. Okay, they also work with our Regional Collaboration Center here, so I'll let them off the hook. But hold them responsible. They are all your institutions. You are not their constituents. They are your institutions. They work for you. In fact, you pay their salaries. So make them deliver. Believe me, they would enjoy it. The more the challenge you give them, the more they enjoy living up to it. So make the challenge big. Back in the Caribbean, I like to pick them because they don't come after me for using them as an example. There's a tradition that if you get a grant, there's a certain limit to it. You know, it's at a certain level. And people have become conditioned that that is the level you should ask for because that is the amount you're likely to get. So you make it self-fulfilling. You don't ask for more, and therefore you always get the same amount. If you ask the people who are providing the grant, what is the limiting factor on the grant they're giving? It's the amount they're asked for. You are limiting yourself with no reason. If you ask for 100 billion and they only have 100 million, then they can only give you that. But if they have 100 million and you only ask for 10, they'll say, okay, I'll gladly give you the 10. So in your case, let the issue that you want to address, the solution you want to bring forth, be your guide as to what you ask for. And if you're going to solve a problem, solve it once. Solve it for the entire region, the entire country, the entire city, but solve it once. I have looked at the variety of the participants at the meeting, and it is really quite extraordinary. It is wide. The participation of youth, those who like to associate themselves as being young, not quite the same thing, has been magnificent. Over the last, let's say 6 or 7 years especially, the youth movement has pushed hard to get a voice, a seat around the table. Now they have had quite a bit of success. So the next level is, what are you going to do with that seat around the table and that voice? Yes, advocacy to maintain it is still absolutely necessary, but people are listening. So it is impressive to hear during the course of this week that articulation of what do we want. Yes, the end goals are the same as everybody's end goals. For climate change to disappear is everybody's goal. We should not even be here discussing it. That is the end goal. But how do we achieve the best that we can achieve? And specifically calling for it. So the indigenous people, youth, gender, it has been remarkable to see them all included, and included at a high level. Now, I would like to close by citing the 3 things that I noted most, and hope that you would take forward in preparing your positions for Dubai and COP28. The collaboration regionally is empowering far more than you are giving it credit for. There are only 5 regions in the world, and you are one of them. You are one of the 5 regional opinions that matter. Make it work. In order to do that, you need to determine what are the key things in the region that all of you can fight for. And during sessions such as what we've had over the past week, you've identified a number of them. So I am going to be following during the COP in Dubai to see how you progress with them. Second, we do not need change. We need huge change. So say transformative change. Transformative doesn't mean anything to me. Big, that's what we need. Not steps forward, leap forward. Even though by taking a bigger leap you have a greater chance of failure, that leap is what is called for. And in achieving that, you do need to have the right people in the right place, and importantly, at the right time. It's clear we have the right people, we have the right place here and then in Dubai, and I'm hoping that within 10 days' time, it will be the right time. So take advantage and let's make a quantum leap forward. And the last one is, when you do things, you do them for a reason. Yes, it's easy to get fixated on the doing because it's fun. You take a boat ride from here to a neighboring island. The boat ride is fun, but the objective is to get to the other island. We are taking these steps here because we have bigger goals we want to achieve. Dubai and the global stocktake. The global stocktake, because when the world produces its next round of nationally determined contributions in 2025, we want to hit the curve that puts us below 1.5. The global stocktake is where you are going to establish what is needed and how we're going to do it, and then you will take your share of the commitments. Every country will take their share of the commitment. Cities will take their share. Companies will take their share. NGOs, banks, everyone will take their share to make sure we hit that curve. So be active in the global stocktake at the Dubai conference and make sure that those 80-odd thousand people who are going to turn up there all end up heading in your direction and you're not heading in theirs. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to me and for giving me one of the most fantastic weeks I've had, and I hope that I can persuade my wife to give up going to St. Lucia next year, and we will come back and have a visit to Malaysia where you won't see us because we'll be hiding out. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Don, and I'm grateful that you didn't read your statement because you spoke from the heart, and that's even more inspiring. Thank you for that. And yes, we did have fun, and I think we had fun because we all shared a common vision, and when you share a common vision, you do everything with passion, and that becomes fun. So thank you again very much. At this time, I have the pleasure to welcome, to give the floor to Mr. Lee Ting Han, the Johor State Investment, Trade and Consumer Affairs Committee Chairman, to officially close this wonderful Climate Week. Sir, you have the floor.
Mr. Donald Cooper, Mr. Alejandro, Mr. Nicholas, and the UNFCCC team, distinguished representatives from UNEP, UNDP, the World Bank, ADB, UN ESCAPE, IGES, UN GC, members of the media, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying congratulations and for such a successful, memorable, and most importantly, impactful Asia Pacific Week 2023 here in Johor Bahru, Johor, Malaysia. Thank you. I know you have heard enough of thank you, but again, please allow me to say for your invaluable contributions and for playing a pivotal role in the organization and implementation of this week-long event. Regardless of whether you are here today as an organizer, delegate, speaker, or a part of the Fix-It crew, your dedication and commitment have been instrumental in fortifying our joint endeavor to combat climate change in the region. This conference is an outstanding example of how people, regardless of culture, race, religion, and backgrounds, put aside differences and come together to share common concerns and exchange ideas. The last I was informed, we have 3,800 participants from 108 countries. It is indeed an extraordinary privilege for Johor and Malaysia to host this conference, bringing together leaders, experts, and change makers from across the region to address the most pressing challenge of our time, climate change. On behalf of the State of Johor, I extend our deepest appreciation to UNFCCC for selecting Johor for such a significant and powerful program. I would also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Government of Malaysia, particularly the Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and climate change for your support towards Johor. Your commitment and environmental stewardship has been a driving force behind the successful execution of this conference. Also, a big thank you to our strategic partners and sponsors, the Johor Corporation, Permodalan Darul Takzim, Iskandar Investment Berhad, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, Insa Holdings, Hana Indah Sdn Berhad, and many more, whom I cannot name each and every one of you. Your support and commitment were essential in making this conference a success. Not to forget is the hard work of the Invest Johor team, state and federal government agencies, volunteers, and our professional conference organizers, the team from Co-Actions Events near Berhad. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past week, we have witnessed a remarkable display of collective action. We had over 200 sessions with active participation. Based on the 4 major systems-based tracks of APCW, as we have heard just now, on energy system and industries, cities, urban and rural settlements, infrastructure and transport, land, ocean, food and water, as well as societies, health, livelihoods, and economies. We have delved into the intricacies of climate change, explored innovative solutions, and forged partnerships that will undoubtedly shape the course of our collective response. From the insightful discussions on carbon markets and green finance, to the inspiring showcases of climate-resilient communities, each session has been a testament to the ingenuity and unwavering determination of the Asia-Pacific region in addressing climate change. More importantly, we will be heard at one voice at the first global stocktake at COP28 in Dubai in less than 2 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, APCW 2023 holds a special significance for Johor, as it has provided us with a powerful platform to solidify our commitment to climate action and establish ourselves as a leading force in the fight against environmental degradation in the region. This event has been a catalyst for a wave of transformative initiatives, each designed to confront the climate crisis head-on while propelling our state towards a sustainable and prosperous future. At the forefront of our endeavors is the Johor Green Deal, a comprehensive framework that outlines our approach to achieving environmental sustainability based on the 5 pillars of energy, transport and mobility, land use, nature and water, low-carbon cities, as well as industry. We are committed to embracing renewable energy sources, enhancing urban infrastructure, preserving our natural resources, and fostering sustainable industrial practices. Complementing the Johor Green Deal is the Johor Sustainability Center, which will serve as a hub of knowledge for sharing, capacity building, and the development of cutting-edge solutions. It will foster partnerships between government agencies, academia, the private sector, the civil society, and harnessing collective expertise to address environmental challenges and promote sustainable development. Furthermore, we have forged partnerships via a diverse range of memorandum of understandings and collaborations with many sectors. Through these partnerships, we encompass capacity building, accreditation, commercial projects around green energy, sustainable financing, and more. These initiatives we have unveiled during APCW 2023 are not merely environmental commitments. They are the foundation for a new era of growth and prosperity in Johor. By embracing sustainability, we are creating new economic opportunities, fostering innovation, and enhancing the quality of the lives of our citizens. We are positioning Johor as a leader in sustainable development, demonstrating that environmental stewardship and economic progress can go hand in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand at the crossroads of environmental crisis and opportunities, I trust APCW 2023 here in Johor Bahru has served as an impactful platform for all of us to strengthening regional cooperation, accelerating climate action, and embracing transformative potential of green technologies and sustainable practices. As you, our guests, depart Johor, let us remember that the fight against climate change is not a sprint, but a marathon. requires unwavering commitments, sustained efforts, and a collective spirit of innovation. It is not a solitary pursuit. Together, we can build a future where humanity and nature thrive in harmony, where our planet resources are cherished and protected, and where a sustainable future is not just a dream, but a reality for our generations to come. Let the closing of APCW 2023 Johor Bahru, Johor, mark the beginning of a new chapter where we continue to work tirelessly, inspire change, and make our collective vision for sustainable, thriving Asia-Pacific a reality. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please move to your seat. Thank you. Thank you, Yang Berhormat YB Tuan Lee Teng Khan, for representing our beloved state, Johor Bahru. As we draw the curtains on the Asia-Pacific Climate Week 2023, let us reflect on the wealth of knowledge shared, the innovative solution discussed, and the collaborative spirit that permeated every session. Thank you for being part of this momentous journey to a greener, more sustainable world, safe travel, and let our collective commitment to addressing climate challenges endure beyond this aspiring day.
Climate change as a global problem requires collective action from all parties.
Hi, I'm Lubna and I'm from Bangladesh.
What a great opportunity this is to truly make a difference at this conference here in Johor Bahru.
I'm grateful to be at Asia Pacific Climate Week.
From Bangladesh, I have come to learn about the world actions that would need to be taken.
Persidangan kali ini adalah sangat baik kerana ia cuba untuk mengetengahkan isu perubahan iklim kepada masyarakat dunia terutamanya.
Climate change is the challenge of our generation and we all need to play a role in solving it so we have a just and equitable future for everybody.
Sayangilah bumi.
Pleasure for me to be here with all of you and to speak about climate change.
So it's the beginning of the Climate Week and we just hope that we'll make some good decision for the COP that is happening soon. And let's make the planet great again.
And I will be happy if UNDP or UNICEF can able to transfer this kind of a policy or organizations or conference to Africa or Nigeria per se.
Let us work together for a greener future for all of us and future generations to come.
Each individual in this world have the power and responsibility to make a change and make a difference in combating climate change.
Sayangi bumi anda.
Kita ramai-ramailah banyak gunakanlah pengangkutan awam kerana itu juga kontribut kepada kita punya persekitaran alam sekitar.
Climate education is the most important thing for our generation. Climate justice is imperative to the success of our students and to us in the future.
We are working to strengthen technology cooperation for a just, fair and faster climate transition which the world needs.
ไม่มีโลกไม่มีชีวิต
पर्यावरण से प्यार करो.
There is no development without climate action.
Indigenous people and local communities hold the key to protecting our forests.
seorang abang inginkan. Petik kenanga kembang di taman, buat hiasan pemanis diri. Bukanlah rupa hati berkenan, adalah sopan, adalah sopan menambat hati. Dan hati berlidah hidup bersama, dengan rasa berkenan dari pandang pertama. Pagilah hari duduk bersulam, bersulam kain di tapak tangan. Kalau diberi buat pilihan, adik seorang abang inginkan. Petik kenanga kembang di taman, buat hiasan pemanis diri. Bukanlah rupa hati berkenan, adalah sopan, adalah sopan menambah hati.
Thank you, Yes Awatan Johor, and to every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, me and on behalf of Johorians, selamat jalan. Thank you. Bye-bye. I would like to invite all the volunteers to be up on stage. We will have our family photos. Come forward, Fix It crew.